It's Saturday, November 5th, 2022. I'm TC Kirkham, and this is the Kirkham Report. AVC and all other associated peoples. I'm TC Kirkham, the Kirkham Report. Welcome to my show. And hi, peeps, if you're new here. Glad you're along. If you're old here, well, you know what you're in for. Coming up this week, I got some more out-of-the-box stuff. I've got a few updates on other things I'm doing, and a little bit of preview of upcoming Monday show, and a lot more. Let's get things kicked off with this week's cover story. So, if you haven't heard the news, Taylor Swift set a record this week, oh goody, by capturing all 10 spots in the top 10 on Billboard's Hot 100 with different tracks from her new album, Midnights. Now, it doesn't help the fact that I'm not particularly a big Taylor Swift fan. My wife will tell you I practically loathe the woman, but I also recognize that she has an incredible following, and it's not a big surprise to me that this album premiered so big. It was so well publicized that it doesn't surprise me that 10 of the, I think, 16 tracks on the album captured the entire top 10. Now, this hasn't been done for quite a while. Drake did it with 9 numbers. A couple years ago. And of course, way back in the 60s, the Beatles captured the top 5 spots all at once in 1964. But the difference between the Beatles milestone and the Taylor Swift and Drake milestones is that back when they were being done with the Beatles, it was just sales and airplay. Now, the Billboard Hot 100 is sales, airplay, streaming, a little bit of everything. And it's no longer a singles chart, it's a tracks chart. So that really kind of screws up chart watchers like me who prefer pure chart information. And once again, it's been completely adulterated by the premiere of Taylor Swift's album. Now, this isn't the first time it's happened. It's happened with a lot of the stuff from the Glee soundtracks that came out a few years ago. Drake has done it a few times. There's been a few other people that have done that as well. But nobody has ever captured the top 10 all at once until this past week. And that is a heck of a milestone, especially for someone who is popular as Taylor Swift, who you would have thought may have been able to pull it off before, but not quite. But it does highlight the problems with today's music monitoring in the United States. There does need to be, as I've said before, separate charts, one that covers everything and one that covers sales, airplay, and streaming, not just tracks, but stuff aimed at airplay, like the old charts used to be. Now, I know I'm a curmudgeon in this way. I know it's not like I haven't been dragged kicking and screaming into the 21st century, because I'm here all the way. I do digital music, I do CDs, I do vinyl, I do a little bit of everything, and I don't have a problem with it. I do have a problem, though, when they start calculating everything equally, because the charts have never been about equality, they've been about style. The Hot 100, while I always said that it should be everything there, and it not, frequently songs from the R&B chart and the country chart have crossed over onto it, the tracks idea is a necessity today. I just wish it hadn't been incorporated into the Hot 100. They should have come up with some other separate chart that encompassed everything and left the Hot 100 as the original true measure of what was being played, what was being purchased, and what was really being listened to. And tracks that weren't considered singles or radio friendly play would not be counted. Call me old-fashioned, but I still think the charts need a complete overhaul, and I always will. But I will not take away from this. It's a milestone and a half for Miss Swift. I wish her congratulations, and hopefully one of these days Billboard will come back to its senses about the charts. And that's this week's cover story. Out of the box this week, more 45s from Don and Mary at Two Hip Chicks. I've been kind of cutting back on that because there's been a lot of stuff that I already had, and there's stuff I have already in this pile. But there's also a lot of good stuff that I really wanted in this. And I got two separate lots, one of 20 and one of 10 on two separate auctions. And I'm going to show them off right now. Some of which I've never had on single before, but I've had on the albums. Like this one, never had the 45 of this. It was not a big hit in America. I think it was a bigger hit in Europe. David Soul, his follow-up to Don't Give Up on Us, Going In With My Eyes Open. I have this on an album. I do not have the single. And I love the fact that it comes in the original private stock sleeve. Aretha Franklin's version of You're All I Need to Get By, backed with Fallen. Ooh, you can't see that at all, can you? Promises, Promises, and A Very Hard Act to Follow from Naked Eyes. Again, only had this on an album, so I'm glad to have that in my collection. The Gap Band, You Dropped a Bomb on Me, and Lonely Like Me. Never had this on a single. I don't think I even had it on an album or a compilation anywhere. Almost Persuaded #2 and Packets of Pencils from Ben Calder. Of course, he was country humor, Sheb Wooley in his alter ego there. Come Lay Some Lovin' on Me, Jimmy James and the Vagabonds. This is a promo from Pie Records, which is one of the top British labels, but it was never really caught on here in the mid-'70s when they tried to launch here. Their biggest hit, of course, was Save All Your Kisses for Me from Brotherhood of Man, 1976. Another, I think, is this promo? This might be, yeah, this is a promo. Also from Arista Records, Gene Page, Moon Glow and Love Theme. 1978, so my guess is it's a disco version of Moon Glow and Love Theme from Picnic, I would assume, because that's the original movie it came from, the original hit. Rufus featuring Shaka Khan, We Got the Love and Rags to Riches. I always loved that ABC label. I thought that rainbow colored label was cool. On the collectibles label, Richie Valens and Donna and La Bamba. So I know this is in super good shape. It's a newer release. John Denver, Rocky Mountain High and Spring. I do not have the single of this. I just got the album from Black Box last month. Very, very happy with that album, by the way. Those are the first 10 that I bought at the one auction. And then there are a lot in here that I have already, but there's 2 or 3 that I didn't have. One of which was this, and I've always loved it. The Ohio Express and Yummy, Yummy, Yummy. Backed with Zigzag. Cher and Half Breed and Melody. I used to have this on a single, and now I just had the album on the greatest hits, and you know, I just grabbed that while I could. Obviously part of this set. Old Fashioned Love and Sexy Lady from the Commodores. I may have this already, I'm not positive. Still working on getting those 45s into Discogs, so I got to get them sorted first. Christopher Cross and Arthur's Theme and Minstrel Gigolo. I do have that. I have the picture sleeve of that, actually. Talk about an overplayed song when it was out. Gary Morris and Velvet Chains and When I Close My Eyes. Of course, Country Star. This has a bunch of labels and circles, so this may have been at a radio station at some point. When you're in love with a beautiful woman and knowing she's there, Dr. Hook. Great song from them. Everybody's Somebody's Fool and Jealous of You, which is sang in Italian, Tango della Galacia, I think, from the immortal Connie Francis. Kim Carnes and More Love and Changin'. This was, of course, her first big solo hit on the chart, about a year before Betty Davis' Eyes made us forget about everything else she did. Poor woman, because she's a great vocalist. Who is this by? Yeah. Chuck Jackson. Any Day Now and The Prophet. This is the original version of the Ronnie Milsap hit from the 1980s. Don't think I have anything on Wand Records, so that's new. That Special Way and Go Away from Nancy Wilson. Nancy Wilson, one of my mom's favorite vocalists. She was awesome. Give the People What They Want and What Am I Waiting For from the OJs, classic Philadelphia International label. Release Me and Don't Feel Rained On by Esther Phillips. This is before she became Little Esther Phillips, which is how she was billed on her disco remake of What a Difference a Day Makes. Diana and Put Your Head on My Shoulder, back-to-back hits from Paul Anka. Back-to-back Goldie 45, MacArthur Park and The Yard Went On Forever from Richard Harris. Man, the number of people that hate Richard Harris's version of this song is amazing. I always thought it was kind of funky. Not the best singer in the world, but he gives it a good shot, and he's better than some other people I can think of. Pierce Brosnan. Don't Be Angry and It's Not Me from legendary country star Stonewall Jackson. Very old Columbia label on that one. Really going back with this one, Frankie and Johnny and It's Just a House Without You from Brooke Benton. Let Me In and One Way Ticket to Anywhere by the Osmonds. That just popped up on Retro Radio Countdown a couple weeks ago. In and Out of Love and I Guess I'll Always Love You by Diana Ross and the Supremes. There is a drill hole that could be a promo or it could be a cutout. Give Me Some More and The Rabbit Got the Girl. It looks like the band says the JBs. There's a lot of ringwear on this, and it's on, I can't even tell the name of the label. It's Funk People Records. I'll take it out of the case here, out of the sleeve. Does that say People Records? It's what it looks like to me. I've never heard of this label. And Dawn, look at this. I didn't even notice this. 2 different shows, 2 different piles, a second copy of Moonlight and Love Theme, Moonglow and Love Theme, promo again from Gene Page. I'll be damned. That's quite interesting. So that's my pickups for this week from Dawn. I thought I had something else, but I can't remember what it was. So if I do find it, I will bring it up next week. Now, I know there are so many of you waiting with bated breath for my analysis of the 2022 Junior Eurovision contest, and I had planned to start earlier, right around the first. It's been pushed back a little bit. I'm waiting for all the 16 songs to be released. They're only up to about 8 of them right now. They're coming out 2 or 3 a day. What I've heard has been really good. I'm a little nervous about the UK's entry. The video is interesting for a 13-year-old. But there's some good stuff out there, and I will be keeping track of it. As I said last week, Junior Eurovision is happening on December, let's see what the date is, December 11th in Yerevan, Armenia. And we will be bringing you coverage of that on my website, thekirkhamreport.com. Most of the stuff I will be doing for Eurovision will be over there, and it should start at any time in the next week. I'm not sure when, but it'll be up eventually because like I said, I'm waiting for the songs to hit. What I've heard so far has been pretty good. I've liked everything. I haven't loved anything. I've liked everything. Watching some of them with Kim was quite amusing. I wouldn't let her say that stuff online. Because she makes, sarcastic, fun comments. And I enjoy it, and it makes me crack up. She isn't into it as much as I am, obviously. But in any case, I will be ramping up coverage of that shortly, and I do apologize for the delay. I figured all the songs would be out by November 1st, and they're not yet. So just keep with me and keep checking the KirkhamReport.com for complete coverage of the 2022 Junior Eurovision Song Contest. My shout out this week goes to a man who deserves a lot more subscribers than he has. He's become a regular commenter on my Obscuria series, and I enjoy watching his videos immensely. His name is Doug Anderson. I will have a link to his site in the show notes. Doug has just got 113 subscribers, so we need to get him up more. Doug has some great opinions and looks at things. He looks mostly at albums, at vinyl, but he's done some contest entries where he's done books. He did my contest entry. That's for how I first met him. Great commentary on the stuff he's been doing. He recently picked up on the female artists thread, which was a lot of fun watching that. All of his stuff is interesting and entertaining. He has a wide variety of stuff in his collection, and I urge you to go over and check him out. I will have his link in the show notes to his YouTube channel. Once again, let's help Doug get up above 112 subscribers. He definitely deserves more than that. Doug Anderson, this week's Shout Out of the Week. So a couple weeks ago, I was kind of tooling around the internet looking for different sites and different magazines that might have the vinyl collector in mind. After redoing and re-upping with Goldmine, after running into Tone Scott, I always looked around in different stuff, and I miss lots of magazines to read through. Well, I came across one, and I ordered it. And it's way different than what I expected, and really a lot of information packed into it. They call it a magazine. I think it's more of a paperback myself. It is Record Culture Magazine. This is issue 10. And it is a European production, but they do have a distributor here in the United States. You can find it in a few stores as well. I did mine direct by mail order. And what it is interviews with fans like yourself and me about record collecting. There's great interviews in here, terrific photos. I'll let you take a look here. There's photos and interviews and everybody talking about their collections and all kinds of interesting stories and setups and how they do things. A lot of this issue actually is a lot of DJs. But in this issue, there's DJ Harvey, Sophie, Jim Takahashi, Ziggy DeVriant, I'm sorry I messed that up, Ziggy, DJ Sunday, a White Columns retrospective 1977 to 1986, Pedro Winter, Ariel Calma, Octa, Max Essa, I can't read that because it's black on dark brown, Moxie, and Pierre Rousseau, plus a CC on disco. This is an incredible little magazine. Now, it is expensive if you mail order it because it is produced overseas and then drop shipped to America. It's $26 a copy. But with the glossy format and the incredible interviews in here, I mean, I've been going through it for the last several days. I think it's highly worth it. I'll have a link in the show notes to their site. Go check it out and see what you think. Record Culture Magazine. Definitely worth a look-see. We have another episode of Finding Your Music Mojo coming up live this Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern. Now, don't forget to turn your clocks back this week if you're in America. I'm not sure when other countries do it, but the U.S. Daylight Savings Time is ending. So definitely don't forget that. And then join us Monday at 6 p.m. on TKR Video Central. It is on my channel this time, as my pal Don from Two Hip Chicks and I discuss our opinions of some of the most underrated acts in the music industry. Everybody has a different opinion of who is underrated, who gets too much attention. I have quite a few I'm going to talk about. Dawn does too. And we urge you to come over, get involved with the chat, drop some names of other artists that you think are underrated so we can discuss them as well. Finding Your Music Mojo with TC and Dawn from Two Hip Chicks, and that will be happening on TKR Video Central this Monday night, November 7th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Please stop by. One of the most irritating things that happens to me sometimes is getting blocked with certain songs I want to use on YouTube. Now, I'm well aware of the fair use doctrine. This is how I put things up because I'm not looking to make any money on them. I don't monetize them. I just want to share the music. Well, every now and then, if you've been watching the Radio Retro Countdown, we'll run into a couple of problems and I'll pop up a copyright block graphic and a little generic music over the song that would be playing there. This week, on the one that's going to premiere tomorrow, I was a little bit surprised because one of the songs that got blocked is a song I've used twice before with no problems. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. I mean, it allowed me to play the whole thing for Kim privately when I posted it, got it done last night. But it's interesting how if you take certain recordings, or like there's certain different versions of the song, and because I try to stay true to the original, the only time I replace something is if it's number one. I try to make sure that I find a version I can use. It's irritating. I'm hoping YouTube's new licensing system will alleviate some of that when it gets available. It's slowly being rolled out to people that are currently monetizing. I don't know if those of us who don't monetize are going to get it. I end up getting the community tab, which I was surprised by, and I will be using in the next few weeks. But it is very interesting how YouTube's algorithms will say no restrictions on one version of a song and completely block worldwide on another version of the song. I'm not quite sure how that happens. I think it's because the publishers are going to be the same, but the recordings are not. You know, one might be from one record label, the other might be from an oldies record label, or whatever. So I do occasionally run into that, mostly on the Countdown show. I have been blocked a few times on Obscuria, and when I do that, I just substitute something else. I have a long list of stuff I've got in plans for using. But it is a very... it's very disconcerting when you've used something before and it turns around and suddenly it's not working. Now, I checked it after I got blocked on the test last night, and the two shows where it's on earlier are still playing fine. No blocks, no restrictions, no anything. Your guess is as good as mine as to which one it is tomorrow when that airs. There's two copyright blocks on tomorrow's Retro Radio. The one I wasn't a bit surprised for, and I actually expected it, so that was not a big surprise. But the second one was a total surprise, and I could have gone back and substituted a live version or something, but I didn't feel like it was worth it. It was, you guys know the song anyway, so it's that good. So don't forget to join me for Retro Radio this Sunday and see what I'm talking about. But in any case, I wish there would be some kind of uniform process here, because obviously it's not uniform if I can use it in one form and not another, and not get blocked on one form and get completely blocked on another. I don't know. It's just weird, but I just thought that was interesting and kind of frustrating too. That's Back Pages for this week. Time for me to skedoodle out of here. I want to remind you, of course, once again, that we have a live Finding Your Music Mojo this coming Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern, right here on TKR Video Central. Dawn and I will be talking about our favorite underrated artists, and we hope that you will join us for that. Also, join me throughout the week for my other shows. Influencers on Tuesday, Rank This on Thursday, I missed it this week, this show on Saturday, and the Retro Radio Countdown on Sunday, all at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, and the TC's Obscuria Vaults every day, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Obscuria Vault's going to be doing 2 weeks of novelty songs to make up what we're calling Thanksgiving Chuckles. Those will start a week from Monday, and then we're going to do quite a bit of holiday stuff coming up in December. I hope you'll like some of the Obscuria songs I picked out and pulled out, and there'll be regular stuff in between here and there. So I hope you'll enjoy those as well, and I love getting all the comments I get on Obscuria, so thank you for that. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you have already subscribed, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and help me spread the word out there. And if you haven't, please do click that subscribe button and the notification bell so you'll know when I have a new video up, although I pretty much give you the time frames. I also do contest entries and stuff here and there, so those will pop up. And thank you for leaving a comment. Always leave a comment when you can, because I love knowing what you think of the show, what you're thinking of what I'm doing, and any ideas you have. And don't forget, those comments can also be used to request a song for Obscuria. Just leave it in one of the Obscuria show notes, and in the Obscuria comment section, and I will see what I can find out. I have a request coming up this week, actually. I hope you enjoy everything you hear. I hope you have a great holiday upcoming. We'll talk more about Thanksgiving as we get closer to it. I think Canada just had theirs this past week, if I'm not mistaken. And not sure what the rest of the country does, the rest of the world does. But here in America, Thanksgiving is coming up, and I'll be gearing for that. So keep an eye out and keep watching for a few new things here and there, too. Until next week. For the Kirkham Report, I'm TC Kirkham. Have a great week, everybody. Ciao, baby.